Hello and welcome to my reflections on day 49. Decided to go early today, midway through the afternoon, for a couple of reasons. One is I'm currently sat in quite a cool place, and for some of you that are local to me, then you may know where that is. And two, today feels a very familiar day. It's very much back to the origins of the Tao and very much week one. And it's about judgment. It's about stepping out of the duality of the world and going into a place of no judgment, of non-duality. So what does that mean? Judgments are dangerous things. We all know that instinctively. And when we judge other people, then we can create some challenges. And I'm sure that I would have said before that there are two people in your life that could say exactly the same thing, and one you'd kiss and one you'd not want to kiss. So it has to be our perception of what they've said. It's our thought process. It's the judgments we make about what we think that person means. So in the coaching world, we talk a lot about everybody is doing the best they can with what they've got, and that at times people aren't as resourceful as perhaps they choose to be. What does that mean? Is that actually we've got to forgive some people sometimes. We've got to recognise that maybe that they're not currently in a place, in a space where they can connect with the world in their thinking in the same way that you're doing it. Is that they want the same things. They want to be able to feel meaningful connection. They want to be able to protect themselves. They want to be able to connect, to create a safe place. And everybody does that in different ways. And sometimes when people aren't feeling as confident or as strong, physically, spiritually, emotionally, they do that in quite an aggressive way. And we see tending towards fight, flight or freezing, is that they'll be quite stern with you or abusive or whatever it is. Or sometimes people just connect with the world in a way that's different to the way that you do in it, because they've grown up in a different place and a different space and they think about the world differently. And maybe actually what we need to do is just to be curious about how someone has come to the conclusions that they've come to about how they see the world, and to assume that they're neither right nor wrong, and actually we're neither right nor wrong, there is just difference. And that's a powerful place to get to, but actually it's a bit tough for some people because they want to live in a black and white world. They want to live in a place of right and wrong, but yet the real world is many shades of grey. And of course the thing that those people that live in a black and white world forget is that black is just an extremely dark shade of grey and white is just an extremely light shade of grey. There is progression between all things. But where those judgments become the most toxic is when they're applied to ourselves. Because suddenly, very often, we'll have a performance. I mean, I've just been out for a quick run with my wife. Now I could judge that. I could go, oh, that wasn't as fast as I used to be able to do it, and all those things. But that may now place me in a situation where I'm now comparing what I've done, which now impacts upon the enjoyment. So I'm now judging my performance, which now means that some people now go, oh, but I shouldn't have done that. So you're now judging yourself on the basis of the fact that you judge your performance. And then sometimes you get those people now go, oh, but I always do that and I wish I didn't. And they're now going, so they're judging themselves, judged themselves, and now judging whether they should or shouldn't over a period of time. And maybe if we think about some of the judgments we make as like slapping the back of our hand with a ruler, you wouldn't keep doing it. So if you've done it once and you recognise you've done it once and you didn't want to do it, just stop. Or go, no, I'll put the ruler down, as opposed to getting locked into the patterns that we do. Now, sometimes for some people, because they've lived with patterns for so long and we've all done it, it's incredibly hard to simply just put the ruler down, walk away, stop giving ourselves a crack over the knuckles. And whilst we're not doing it physically, we are potentially doing it emotionally or intellectually. And that's why there's this beautiful stuff that goes on around us by coming into nature, by hanging out in beautiful places like this, by engaging with those beautiful concepts and ideas that myself and Nikki are continually talking about in this place called Deep Water Mind, is that we are, and how weird, because as soon as you mention someone on a video, they literally text you that moment. So we're now in this place, in this space where we can't engage with our history and we can't engage with our future. So we are just left in a place and a space where we're all consumed by what we are currently experiencing in a really powerful, positive way. So whether that be mindfulness, whether that be meditation, whether that be an all-embracing conversation with a coach, all of those things are really cool because they allow us to be very present. And what they do is they cause us to stop judging ourselves. And sometimes people go, you know, what's this meditation thing about? Well, I find it incredibly powerful. And to start with, yeah, you know, counting your breath or doing, you know, or paying attention to different parts of your body, it's like having a little judgment babysitter. It's like someone going, you know, that little bit of you that wants to be mischievous inside your head that goes, I'm going to judge how I do the world, and going, but you can't right now, because actually what you're doing is you're lay on the floor or you're sat on a stool and you're counting your breath or you're paying attention to different parts of your body. And it's really cool because you can't judge yourself in those moments. And when you don't do that, then you learn the power of that. And then you learn, you know, just to simply be able to be in a fabulous place where you just accept the world as it is. And more importantly, you accept yourself as you are. And that's a really cool thing. And, and so that's what I've connected with the Tao. I personally have, meditation has been a key part of my life every day for over 10 years now. And it is just the gift that keeps on giving. So, you know, whether you email me, whether you download a link, you know, whether you ask for something from my website, whether you find something online, I would say to you, maybe today, you know, find a guided meditation, just a simple one, not one that's too complicated because that can be troublesome as well, but just a simple body scan or a breath counting meditation. For those of you who want one, email me, I'll send you one. And just have a moment, a couple of minutes, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour, and connect with you, just being you. And that's cool because you'll find out that you're the most amazing person that you know. How can you not be? Gandhi always said to us, well, not to me personally because I never met him, but I would have liked to have done, is the fact that we should meditate for at least 20 minutes twice a day, unless you don't have time. And one of the things that when we're continually judging ourselves, we always seem to have, or judging our performance, or letting other people judge our performance and giving in to their judgments, is that we always seem to have enough time to be able to get it wrong at least twice, but never enough time to get it right the first time, because we don't create space. We create a relationship with performance. But what we know, or what I hope you know, is that performance is a function of the resources you have minus the interference that slows you down. And the traditional way of doing it in a Western society is to be able to build more resource, whereas that requires action, it requires to go and find stuff and so on and so forth. Whereas the simplest and the easiest way to be able to catapult your personal performance, however you want to do that, however you title it, whether you just call it being a good dad, a good uncle, a good brother, you know, a great leader, a great line manager, a great naval officer, any of those things, then the fastest way to do it is to ditch the interference. And of course, the interference is the judgments we make about ourselves based on the beliefs that we hold. You know, Tony Robbins always used to say that you can you can change the way that you think about your life and the world in just a heartbeat. But typically it takes 10 people about 10 years to build enough courage to have the heartbeat. Michael Neal would say to you, you're only ever one thought away from a completely different life. And I don't know if I wholly get those things, and maybe I'm not as far along the path as I would like to think. I understand them intellectually, and sometimes, like everybody else, it's a challenge to experience those things on a daily basis. But what I do know is ditch your judgment. Absolutely ditch your judgment. And when you find that you've done it and you've judged yourself and you've slapped yourself metaphorically over the back of the knuckles with a ruler, don't do it again. Just let it be. But today, if you've not meditated before, drop me a line. I'll send you one, and give it a go and connect with the beautiful you that you are. See you on day 50. Wow.